In this lesson, we will discuss preparation of soluble salts. The table shows a summary of the solubilities of various salts. Use the scroll bar to view the solubility of different salts. All salts of potassium, sodium, and ammonium are soluble. All nitrates are soluble. All sulfates are soluble except barium sulfate, lead-2 sulfate, while calcium sulfate is lightly soluble. All chloride are soluble except silver chloride and lead-6 chloride, which is soluble in warm water. All carbonates are insoluble except sodium, potassium, and ammonium carbonate. All oxides are insoluble except the oxides of potassium, sodium, and ammonium. Click to play the video to observe how copper-2 sulfate crystals are prepared. 50 cm cubic of dilute sulfuric acid is poured into a beaker and acid is warmed. Copper-2 oxide is added in excess. The excess copper-2 oxide is filtered and the filtrate transferred into a beaker. The filtrate is heated until it is saturated and allowed to cool to form crystals. The reaction between a base and water only is called neutralization reaction. From the experiment, copper-2 sulfate solution is heated to saturation. A saturated solution is one that cannot dissolve any more solute at a given temperature. On cooling the saturated solution, crystals form. This process is referred to as crystallization. In this lesson, we will discuss how to prepare insoluble salts by precipitation and direct combination of elements. Click to play the video to observe the preparation. 50 cm cubic of dilute nitric acid is placed in a beaker. Lead-2 oxide is added in excess to dilute acid. Excess lead-2 oxide is filtered off. This is a yellow solid. Lead-2 nitrate is transferred into a beaker and excess potassium iodide solution is added. The mixture is stirred and filtered to obtain solid lead-2 iodide. The lead-2 iodide solid is washed and dried. The insoluble solid formed when two soluble salts react is called a precipitate. Reactions in which two soluble salts react to form a soluble salt and an insoluble salt are referred to as double decomposition or precipitation reaction. Other salts that can be prepared through precipitation reaction are barium sulfate, copper-2 carbonate, silver chloride, and lead-2 chloride. Salts can also be prepared by direct combination of elements. Dry chlorine gas is passed over heated iron wool in a combustion tube. Chlorine gas is poisonous, hence experiment should be carried out in a fume chamber. Anhydrous calcium chloride is used to absorb moisture. This is because iron 3 chloride is deliquescent. It absorbs moisture to form a solution. In this method, two elements combine to form a salt only. This method of salt preparation is called direct combination or synthesis. Direct combination reactions do not produce crystals powdered product. Other salts that can be prepared by this method include sodium chloride, iron 2 sulfide, and aluminium chloride. In this lesson, we will discuss the effect of heat on salts. When nitrates are heated, they decompose to form different products. 2 spatula full of lead 2 nitrate are placed in a dry boiling tube. Lead 2 nitrate is then heated. When nitrates are heated, they decompose to form different products. 2 spatula full of lead 2 nitrate are placed in a dry boiling tube. Lead 2 nitrate is then heated. Lead 2 nitrate decomposes on heating to give brown fumes, a colorless gas, and a yellow solid on cooling. Yellow solid is lead 2 oxide. Brown fumes are nitrogen 4 oxide. A gas that relights a glowing splint is produced. The gas is oxygen. Two spatula full of copper 2 nitrate are placed in a dry boiling tube. Copper 2 nitrate is heated gently. 2 spatula full of copper 2 nitrate are placed in a dry boiling tube. Copper 2 nitrate is heated gently, then strongly. Copper 2 nitrate decomposes on heating to form a black solid, brown fumes, and a colorless gas. Black solid is copper 2 oxide, while brown fumes is nitrogen 4 oxide gas. A gas that relights a glowing splint is produced. The gas is oxygen. Copper 2 nitrate decomposes on heating to form a black solid, brown fumes, and a colorless gas. Black solid is copper 2 oxide, while brown fumes is nitrogen 4 oxide gas. A gas that relights a glowing splint is produced. The gas is oxygen. Nitrates of group 1 elements decompose on heating to give the metal nitrate and oxygen gas. Nitrates of potassium and sodium decompose on heating to form their metal nitrate and oxygen gas. Nitrates of silver and mercury decompose on heating to form their metal, nitrogen 4 oxide and oxygen gas. Silver nitrate and mercury nitrate salts decompose on heating to form their metals, nitrogen 4 oxide and oxygen. Potassium and sodium carbonates do not decompose on heating, while other metal carbonates decompose on heating. Aluminium and iron 3 carbonate do not exist. 2 spatula full of solid copper 2 carbonate are placed in a dry boiling tube. The gas produced is bubbled through calcium hydroxide solution. Two spatula full of solid copper 2 carbonate are placed in a dry boiling tube. The gas produced is bubbled through calcium hydroxide solution. Green copper 2 carbonate decomposes on heating to form black copper 2 oxide and carbon 4 oxide gas. Carbon 4 oxide forms a white precipitate when bubbled through calcium hydroxide solution. The white precipitate is calcium carbonate. Two spatulafuls of solid lead 2 carbonate is placed into a dry boiling tube. The gas produced is bubbled through calcium hydroxide solution. 2 spatulafuls of solid lead 2 carbonate is placed into a dry boiling tube. Gas produced is bubbled through calcium hydroxide solution. White lead 2 carbonate decomposes on heating to form red lead 2 oxide and carbon 4 oxide gas. On cooling, the red lead 2 oxide turns to yellow. Similarly, potassium and sodium hydrogen carbonates decompose on heating to form their metal carbonates, carbon 4 oxide and water. Sodium and potassium carbonates formed do not decompose further on heating. Most of the salts are useful in our daily lives. Click on each of the boxes to observe some of used as fertilizers, for example, sodium nitrate and potassium sulfate. As food additives, for example, sodium chloride. As antacids, for example, magnesium hydroxide, commonly called milk of magnesia, neutralizes excess acid in the body. Calcium sulfate is used in hospitals as plaster on people with fractures or dislocations. Potassium nitrate is used for making fireworks, for example, matchboxes and gunpowder. Sodium carbonate is used in softening hard water, making of glass and detergents.